What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Formula America podcast. We're your hosts, Kurt and Dylan, and we have just come off of 3 back-to-back awesome races, and now we're heading into the Hungaroring. So I don't know what to expect from this race, but we're going to discuss it and give our predictions and see how this race normally goes. Dylan, you were just saying this one's normally kind of hit or miss for the most part.
This one's like... I saw a reel the other day of the 2021 Hungaroring when it was raining and everyone was on inters, and then they did the formation lap, and every single person except for Lewis Hamilton went into the pits, and it was the first race in history where there was one car that started it and everyone else was in the pit. Last year we had both Alpines take themselves on the opening lap. We had Lewis Hamilton, who greened one sector in quali and yellowed the other 2 and was on pole. Just put enough of a lap together. Like, I feel like this race is probably going to be boring in the middle. It is a 2-stop strategy, generally speaking. Every car last year did a 2-stopper. We do have high tire deg here. Like, you got some strategy play, but I think that it's going to be a little bit boring at points, but for some reason, every year there's parts of this race that are absolute bangers.
Yeah, and like you said with Lewis, man, he is a 9-time pole sitter at this track, and he's won 8 times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. We were just talking before we started here about the temperatures this weekend, so I don't know if it's really going to be. Yeah, and this year that Mercedes hasn't performed that well in the heat. But then again, they are bringing upgrades this week and for the next race in Spa too. So maybe they'll bring some cooling upgrades and really blow everybody's mind.
Yeah, that was one thing I was reading on this. The cooling is a huge issue at this track because it's generally so hot. The other thing, it's not a very abrasive surface or very hard on the tires. It doesn't have a ton of like lateral load like Silverstone does or like Spa will. But it's all about traction. There's so many tight, twisty turns. It's all about having that rear axle hooked up to be able to accelerate out of the turns. And so you end up having a higher tire deg because of the requirement of traction versus, it's okay being a little bit squirrely at some tracks. It's not preferred, but you're okay. Like, there's so many low speed, twisty corners here that you need more traction. And so you generally have more tire deg as opposed to normal with the amount of abrasion on a surface. Like, this is a really soft, non-laterally loaded track, but you still have a lot of tire deg because you need traction, and the heat plays into that a lot.
Yeah. So I was just looking it up before we started. It's going to be 86 degrees on race day, which is pretty warm, especially for race cars.
I mean, that means that's probably 100 degrees on the track. Like, it's always a good 15, 20 degrees hotter on track. Like, so it'll be really interesting. It's also a short track. It's one of the shortest of the seasons. It's only 4.3 kilometers long. We got 2 DRS zones, but really only one of actual importance. The second one after turn 1 is just kind of after you pass someone, giving you a little extra helper.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a long run down to turn 1. I think there's always been a little bit of chaos at the start of the race. It's a long run and then a hard braking zone.
Yeah, last year we got to see Lewis Hamilton, like you said, starting on pole. Max coming up, just doing what we've seen him do time after time, where he just gets on the inside and sticks his nose a little bit further. So Lewis lost out there. And then also on the first turn last year, we got to see, somebody, I forget who it was, ran into Ricardo, who then ran into Ocon, who then ran into Gasly and took both the Alpines out in the first turn. It was a little bit of chaos last year. So I love it when you have those long runs into the first turn because there's so much time for people to jockey for position. And it's always a blast. You never know what's going to happen in turn 1.
I always look for it. Every time I go look at the circuit, the first thing I look for is how close is that little checkered flag of the start lane to turn 1. I love it when it's way back there. You're like, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've basically covered a ton of the stuff. I think the only thing we're running the softest tire lineup, C3 through C5 this weekend. So, and Pirelli says that they doubt we'll see the Redwald softs on race day. Just too much. Like, they're great for qualifying, but you blow them off too quick. Like you're going to need mediums and hards for the race. So we'll see if McLaren can do what they did last time, where they had a better strategy that they then jack up during the race and let someone else win.
That for me, I got a couple big questions. Mine are McLaren. Can they bounce back from that strategy? Because I'm pretty sure they're going to have a really fast car this weekend. Other than that, also Ferrari. I don't even know what to expect from Ferrari anymore. And then the other one is I got my eyes on Mr. Perez to see what he's going to do, because if he's going to do anything, it needs to happen quick. So I know the pressure is on him. So is he going to fold or is he going to be able to rise up?
So I was looking at that from last year. He started in P9. He qualified 9th and he made it up to P3. But that RB19 was, an absolute rocket ship. And Lando Norris still was in front of him after all that. And Max was 33 seconds clear of Lando. I think with equal footing, I don't know. I don't know that it's going to be a Red Bull dominance this weekend.
Yeah, I think it really, especially for Checo, depends on his mindset when he shows up. But yeah, as far as on the other end with Max, I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. There's too many other cars that are looking good, but we'll see.
I'm
really
think it's
excited.
going to be Ferrari, like you said.
No.
I don't think it's going to be them. I'm really curious where the Mercedes is going to be. Like, I think Max and the two McLarens are going to be fighting, and the wild card is Mercedes going to be in the mix?
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be it, man. So is that going to be your actual wild card, or
no? I still don't know what my wild card is. I'm working on that live. You want to go to who we got on poll? You want to go to the predictions?
Let's do it. Let's do it. I told you I'm gonna shake it up a little bit.
Excellent. That always bodes well for me. Actually, that boded well for me last year. This year,
we're both going to be wrong.
Yeah.
So. All right. So who do you got on poll?
I got Max.
Max on poll, traditional. I am actually going to go ahead and put Lewis on poll.
Lewis on poll round 2.
Yeah, I think the heat's going to affect them in their long time, like their long running.
Their race pace.
I'm going to say that. Yeah, I'm going to say that he'll get it at least on Saturday.
Be cool with that. It's a technical track. Like,
he's good at this track too. He's good at Silverstone. We saw what happened last race. So I'm hoping that continues.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd be all right with that. All right, who do you got on P3?
P3, I got the Aussie, Oscar Piastri.
I do as well.
Oh my God, here we go. Jesus. All right, who do you have on P2?
I thought for sure we'd be different this time, because I was like, I never put Piastri in my poll or in my lineup. I'm putting Piastri in there.
I can already see where this is going. All right,
Should
P2?
I change it? I'll change my P3 to a Mercedes.
Okay.
I'll do that. Lewis,
You may.
P3.
Okay. It was between those two, but I just went with the temperature, which is why I went with Oscar.
That's exactly the reason why I went with the McLaren as well, because P2, I got Lando.
Okay. P2, I have Max. So we're a little bit different here. Okay, good.
P1, I have Max.
All right, cool. I got Lando. So I got, Lando, Verstappen, Piastri.
Okay, I'm doing Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I think it's all going to be a crapshoot anyway. God, I don't even know what do you have for your wild card? Because I don't know if I like mine.
All right, so my wild card, I'm going to go with double points for Haas.
I almost did that wild card. That was one of the ones I thought of. And I said the same thing you did. I don't know if that's wild enough. I think that's actually like a real chance at this track.
Oh, geez. That's funny.
I've got no Q3 for Checo right now.
Oh, man.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, it's kind of wild. He's in the Red Bull, but...
So do you not think it's wild enough, or do you think that he's going to make it into Q3?
I don't know if I just want to keep beating this dead horse. Like, I feel
just
bad.
Bully at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm like, it's wild enough. It could happen. I just don't know that I want to keep picking on him, man. Like, I'm starting.
You're gonna have to stop, because we are going to Mexico, so there's gonna be a target on your back.
You're not wrong. All right, this is my last one.
Okay.
Maybe, probably Probably not. But I don't have anything else. The only other thing I thought of was double points for Haas. So
all right, so Checo is going to go out sometime before Q3.
yes.
Okay. I feel so bad if that happens for him, but
I do too at this point. Caveat. I do too. I hate seeing a driver as good as Checo kind of flame out this way. But the shakeup, if he gets kicked out of that car, sounds really entertaining.
That's what does it for me.
So
exactly, that's what does it for me too. Because like, there's so many possibilities as to what could happen, and I'm always going to go with my boy Danny. So I'm hoping that he at least gets a shot just to fulfill his dream of getting in that Red Bull one more time,
and then retiring and riding off into the sunset to be a Red Bull ambassador.
Yeah, or like NASCAR. I want to see him in NASCAR. Actually, that would be really cool. So
that'd be pretty cool. I might actually watch that. We need to go to a NASCAR race. I tried watching it one day and it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, we'll have to go to one.
But
when Danny's in there. But
and Logan.
I think Logan's gonna go to IndyCar.
I think he's gonna go to Indy as well. That's what the rumor mills have been, and that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, go race for Primo when they come in, which we could do a whole, maybe on the Patreon, do one talking about that. Which, if you haven't checked out, patreon.com/Formula America. Check us out over there. We've got a few updates. We're trying to upload weekly on that as well.
We just kind of do more behind the scenes and less podcasty, more talky.
Yep. It's a good time. Oh, man. All right. So traditional weekend again. This is obviously no sprint. I think next year is actually going to be a sprint here, but this weekend's pretty traditional. Looks like, and of course it goes away.
I got it. Schedule. Central Time. We got race Sunday at 8 a.m. Quali Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. And then practices largely in the mornings. So should be a good time.
Will be. I'm excited for this one. Hopefully it's not going to be a snooze fest, even after the last three being so awesome, but we'll see.
The last three are going to be hard to live up to. I don't know if a race can beat Silverstone this year. Like at the end of the year, when we're like, what was the best race of the year? I think it's behind us now.
Yeah, that was definitely a nail biter, just watching the end as it got closer and you're realizing what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat that entire race. I don't think that anything's going to be able to top that.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So we have this race, and then we've got
Spa,
the next one. Oh, yeah,
my favorite track.
And then we go into the summer break.
And on that, there are like no two tracks that are more different than Spa and the Hungaroring. Like you can kind of take the triple header with Spain, Austria, and Great Britain, and all of those are kind of old school, fast corner, classic F1 tracks. We then come to the Hungaroring, which is really short, really twisty, like has one long straightaway, and that's it. And then we go to Spa, which is all downforce, all aerodynamics, crazy elevation changes, hardcore fast corners. Like we're kind of running the entire gambit of different track styles, short of like a Singapore, which is just kind of an outlier. But I think going into the summer break after Spa, we're going to be able to kind of have a more solid, I think this is the current rankings, because we have such a breadth and width of tracks that we're going to watch these cars on. And I think that we'll know, honestly, I think we're just going to know if Mercedes is in the mix or not by the end of next weekend.
Yeah. Man, I'm so pumped. All right, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure you leave us a rating and a review. Share it with a friend if you can. Check us out on Instagram, Formula_America. And I think that might be it. Dylan, you got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, on that note,
stay classy, America.
We'll see you next time.